We're back. This time I have a retwist. This video is going to be basically me speaking about all the bad, terrible things about medical school. You know, that's why I have it a little dimmer and it's October, so, you know, scary type shit. Let me preface this by saying, you know, with good, there's going to be bad, so you really can't take anything too personally. And it's honestly not that bad, but yeah, we're going to get into it. The first thing that I would say is the worst part about medical school is it comes down to the amount of hours you're studying. It's honest, it really is ridiculous. Like, to everybody who says it, if you're in medical school, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I wonder how it is, it really is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, on average, they spend an average of 8 to 10 hours a day studying. So think about it, if you really break down your day, 8 hours sleeping, you got 16 hours left. And I know it seems cool, like, oh, 8 hours sleeping, you studied for 8 to 10 hours, now you have another 6 hours to do anything. That's not how life is, and y'all know it. And y'all know it, all right? But literally 8 to 10 hours, like literally, and they're not just regular hours, it's from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. literally, you know? And I'm putting an extra 2 hours because things happen, and that's it studying. You still have to eat, you still have to like do regular things, you have to like wash clothes or something, you know? Like you have to live life a little bit, like do humanly things. So 8 to 10 hours each day is kind of crazy. That's on average. I don't know if everyone actually does that. I will say me, I study pretty long time, I'm not gonna lie. Like if I start at 8, and that's including class, like, you know, you wake up at 8, go to class till 12. You might have an OSCE, you might have something crazy you have to do that day, but from 12 on, I'm basically studying for till 8, you know, and that's a lot. And then I have to wake up again at 8, so that means I only have like an hour or two to get ready. But then think about it, I gotta get ready for the next day, I gotta shower, I gotta make food, I gotta make my lunch. You see what I mean? So like, it's really a long time, and I will say that's one of the hardest parts. And that's why if you are in medical school, I would advise you to just love it. Just love it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if you hate studying, get over yourself. Like, just love it, man. I'm not gonna lie, get over it. Number 2, this is a big one because with me, my biggest thing is like, we're studying for all these hours, we're studying for so long, it's difficult and things like that, but what people don't also know is like, they don't just expect us to study, they want us to do other things, they want us to volunteer, they want us to, you know, be a part of organizations. That's things that people want to see on your application. They want you to do research. They want you to there's a lot of other things on top of the studying. And as I've just said, you're studying for 8 hours. And then on top of that, you want me to volunteer. And then, mind you, you don't have to volunteer, but it does, like, I don't volunteer that much, but I want to. But I'm like, hey, I don't want to, would I like volunteering so much if I don't actually know my information, you know? So it's like a double-edged sword in a sense, you know, because you don't know if you should or if you shouldn't, if it's too much, and then you start comparing yourself like, man, am I not doing enough? I would say it's a really big thing because, you know, I want to be part of these organizations. I want to do more, but I want to study, and you're supposed to want to do more. You get it? Like, that's what people want to see. They want to see that you want to do more. So balancing the fact that you have to study for 8 to 10 hours a day on average with having other extracurriculars, other responsibilities, you know, volunteering, whether you're part of an organization, what if you want to lead an organization, what if you want to start an organization, you know, and what if you have, like, I don't know, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, a daughter, a son, you know, like, that's when things get really bad. So like, having to balance these other responsibilities on top of the studying, that might be even worse than the studying, because when you're even trying to do those, you might be thinking like, dang, did I really do enough studying, you know? So number 3, this one I don't really care about too much. Like, some of these really apply to me. Some are like, I know they apply to some of my classmates, and I'm gonna put them on here because it's a natural thing. This next one is like a social life, basically. You have one, but you don't have one. You really don't have one. Like, the idea of going out every weekend, you shouldn't do that. Not every weekend. The idea of getting like hammered, you know, like you gotta get ready. Let me think. Can you go out every weekend? You know, you probably could. You know, oh, I'm happy I'm talking about this. So me, I don't go out every weekend, right? But I think you need to enjoy yourself a little bit. So even if you do go out every weekend, I think that's fine, as long as you balance it to the point where you're still getting everything done. So the only reason I would say there is a lack of a social life is because you don't have enough time, but there are some people who can do that. So if a social life is really important to you and, you know, you are studying and doing everything, you can balance the two. Now, once again, as I've said, you're not just having a social life and then you're studying. You still have to do other things outside of your social life. Like, when I mean social, I mean like nightlife and having a good time and things like that. You still have to do other things that take up time. Laundry takes time. I know, it's fucking crazy. Laundry takes time. Washing the plates takes time. Cleaning takes time, but you have to do it. You can't be a pig, you know what I mean? So I would say the lack of social life, and for me, I don't feel that as that big of a deal, honestly. Like, it is what it is, but I would say that's probably something other people care about. But I think that's on a lower, that's like on a lower tier. That's more lower tier on this list. This next one, number 4, it's dependent on who you are and where you ended up. It's not a like misconception. Like, if you're living in a fun city, you'll probably have more fun there just because you're in a better city. There's more things to do. There's more people to meet who maybe, you know, you coincide with more. Like, if you're, no disrespect to Ohio or Wyoming, but maybe if you're in a state like that, you might not enjoy it that much if you're used to a big city type of thing, you know? So I think the city that you end up in is very important. And it's tough because, you know, you have to think about money, you have to think about who lets you in. Money, who lets you in, how far is it, how much, all these different costs. So like sometimes you might have to end up in a city where you don't particularly like. I like the place I'm in. I didn't expect to like it, but I actually love the place I'm in, honestly, I love it. You know, that it could be the complete opposite. I've heard really bad stories where people were in places where they just hated, you know? And if you're in a place where you're gonna hate, there's little you can do to make everything around you somehow not affect your internal. That made a lot of sense, but yeah. So that's a really big one, and I don't have a solution for you, honestly. Like, but yeah, I feel like the city you end up in can definitely influence your mental and how you feel in general, and it can really probably hurt things, or it can help things, you know? I don't know, I love where I'm at, I'm sorry. This one, it applies to me, but it don't apply to me because like, it applies to me a little bit. Every now and then, I remember it was like Saturday, I was chilling. I did all my work, did all that shit, did the YouTube shit, put the reels out, studied all that. I was like, it'd be cool to do something. But I didn't really have nobody to do anything with. I was like mad bored, you know? And I was like, oh shit, I guess I'm like a little lonely. Yeah, they talk about it obviously, you know? So me, I don't really get lonely, and that's the only time it ever happened, and I'm literally good. I tend to like I live by myself, I tend to like my peace and my like space. But I would say that's something that is very big. A lot of medical students, it's very easy to get lonely because you're studying for so long, you know, maybe a lot of your friends are asking you to go out, but then it's like, they want to see you, but it's like, I'm studying, and then eventually what do? Oh, they're probably studying. Let me just leave them alone. Oh, they're probably doing this, let me just leave them alone. And then you start distancing yourself from like close friends and family, you know, people that you rely on and that you didn't even know how much like they're being helped your mental. So I think being lonely is a very big thing in medical school, and our school does a really good job of just trying to keep everybody close and nice. You know, like the culture here is really nice, but I think that's one thing that can really lead a person to a dark path in medical school. If they start getting extremely lonely, they feel like they don't have anybody. And I don't know the exact cure for that because I know it's people, but it's not as easy as it says. So I don't know the exact cure, but I would say that's probably the biggest thing, honestly, because like your mental is everything. Obviously, we hear the stories of like, you know, medical students. You hear about people in the medical profession ending their life and things like that, and it's very sad because it's like I be thinking like, dang, I don't want to kill myself, but they probably didn't either. So you know, but like, I like it's weird because like you don't know what led them to that, but I would assume loneliness is one of them. You know, so if you are experiencing that, I would say get help as fast as you can. You know, because I don't know, the worse it gets, if that makes sense. But all in all, I think being lonely is a really big one, and that's probably the most important and worst thing about medical school if it does happen to you. Depression / loneliness. This is a big one. I'm not gonna lie, this next one means something because like it's money. Money. The thing that makes this world spin on a daily basis, you know? You're not working, you don't have much of it, you're losing money at an astronomical rate, you know? So I would say another really big one is the lack of money, the lack of an income. Obviously, I have like a slight income with my Airbnb, but even then it's like, you know, I'm trying to get to the cheese for real. What you talking about, man? But yeah, that's all I can say about that one. That one sucks, not being able to like just buy what you want to buy. You know, like you came from a gap year where you were probably working and having enough money to get the shoes you wanted, go out to dinner whenever you wanted, and not really have to think about it too much, you know? And in that case, in regards to the money one, that does suck because you want to go see your family, you want to go back to, you know, your hometown, you gotta fly. What does that cost? Money. That's a really big one, money. But that one just is what it is. I think if you're in this, you just have to, you knew what it was, and you know, rely on the loans, I guess. This last one is like kind of important, but not the most important. Comparing yourself. And I know you can do this in any way, like it's not just for medical school, but it's really easy to compare yourself. Like sometimes I go to the library and I feel like, oh, this person's been there for 2 hours, I'm slacking, you know? But you don't even know. Maybe they were just watching the show for an hour and a half and they've been there for 30. Not that you should think like that. You should really not care what they're doing. What they're doing has nothing to do with what you're doing. You get what I mean? But comparison is obviously the thief of joy, and I think that's a real big thing that happens in medical school. Maybe you hear somebody, like even on a practice exam, I see somebody got 100%. I'll be looking like, hey, which one of y'all got 100%? Because this is absurd. Like, that was hard for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So I would say comparison is a really big one, just because, you know, especially if you aren't doing well in something, like it's hard to look at other people doing well. It's like, dang, what am I doing? Am I not working hard enough? Am I not studying hard enough? Am I not doing this? Like, what am I doing wrong? And that's not the case. That's just not the case. You know, certain things work for certain bodies, and you just have to find what works for you. That's what life is. Comparison, it's a really strong thing, and that's why you have like really competitive schools, and I don't think they have the best culture at those schools, but you know, it is what it is. But not least, this one is a big one for me. This is a big and very important one for me, all right? It's kind of one, it's like two things in one, but it's important to me. Eating well and working out. I ate one meal today, a Subway sandwich. It is, now I'm about to look at the fucking time. I don't have my clock, I think it's 7:30. 7:30? It's like 7:20, 7:30. I ate one Subway sandwich. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I gotta eat food, I'm a grown man, you know what I mean? As you can see, I feel this one right here. And also, I don't really like to cook like that, so yeah, it's not, maybe it's also my fault, you know? So you have to like learn how to cook, but you have to have time to cook, and then you have to study, so it's a lot of things, you know what I mean? But eating well, a lot of medical students don't eat well. There's like, eating well and exercising, literally sitting down is one of the worst things a human being can do, and we are sitting down for what I say, 8 to 10 hours a day, and that's not a good thing. Like, sitting down is really bad. You need to be mobile, you know? I try to work out, I try to stay fit 4 days out of the week. It's hard for me to make it, but working out's a big one. Like, I really don't want to not work out. Like, how you feel on the inside is directly correlated to how you treat your body. So eating well and working out is gonna make you feel better. It does make you feel better in every aspect of your life, whether it's studying or anything else. So that's one of the things that really suck, you know? But I think that's an easy one to beat as long as you're more of a cooking type person. And you really, because there is time to work out. Trust me, there's time to work out if you really want to. And you just have to really prioritize that. That's what I really, anyone who says like, oh, there's not enough time, you gotta really prioritize it. Prepare, you know what I mean? Every Sunday, when are you gonna cook your food? When are you gonna work out? When are you gonna put the books down and say, no, I'm done. I'm gonna go work out for 30 minutes to an hour. And that's more than enough, you know what I mean? There's definitely more stuff, and I would love to do a part 2. I'm gonna stop it right here. I don't need to even say this anymore, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. I'm really annoyed at saying it. Do it. Y'all annoying me the fact that you aren't doing it in the first place. JK. What's it called? But yeah, that's really it. 8 things I hate about medical school. Do all the, I know, y'all right, bad type shit. But yeah, that's it. Y'all have a wonderful day, wonderful night, wonderful week, wonderful month, wonderful year. Love, 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 love. 8 things I hate about medical school, and yeah, enjoy the video, dude. So, to begin, this one's very obvious. It's probably it's the biggest